Hello. Welcome back to TWG Fan Club. Wednesday, my favorite day of the week.
It's hump day.
Right? It is hump day. It is hump day, but now it's like for a good reason.
Hump day.
Growing up, that you would say Wednesday was your favorite day.
I never honestly got the whole thing with Wednesdays. I loved Wednesdays for some reason.
Because the week is almost over. So
for me, none of the good TV shows came on. There was no wrestling. There was no Wayans Brothers. Everything came on Thursdays and TGI Fridays.
And Fridays.
Yeah.
For me, it's always been Thursday because of Scandal, and then Grey's Anatomy, and then they dropped How to Way to Good Murder, and I was just like, yeah, y'all can't talk to me, but
Shonda Rhimes had y'all in a chokehold.
Chokes.
It's okay. But I'm happy to be back. TWG Fan Club. Those that are new to the fan club, this is our weekly wrestling. We get together, we talk wrestling, we talk the news, we talk the latest spots, what people are talking about on social media, and it's a good time to bring everybody together and just chop it up, especially with my crew. But before we get into things, because we definitely have a stacked show, a lot has happened in the world of women's wrestling. In the Those Wrestling Girls universe, we do have the last part of our Charlotte series coming. Please watch out on YouTube and where you get your favorite podcast. I'm excited to have finally finished that series. I can't even say Charlotte Flair anymore, but I love my queen. And we are actually now working on a spotlight series on Carmella.
Ooh.
So I don't
like that.
Me too. I don't know if it's going to be a 1 or 2-parter. It's one of those things where I think Carmella is severely underrated and not appreciated. And I think us diving into her career and actually seeing everything that she's done, just me doing the outline of it, I'm like, okay, this is going to be juicy. This is going to be good. And I can't wait to remind people of everything that she's done in the business. I would say she's a homegrown talent. For sure. So also a second generation wrestler, depending on how you want to think about it. Her father was a jobber in the 90s. So that's going to be fun.
Girl, that's not how we going to do this. Don't start it like that.
She says it herself. I learned that from Carmella.
Yeah, but no.
She makes it clear, because when you hear second generation talent, you think of like Charlotte Flair, and it's just like, let me manage your expectations of my wrestling lineage. But her father was a professional athlete in other ways. But yeah, I can't wait to dive into Carmella's career. She was a Laker girl, so she's done a lot. We have yes. 100%.
All I know is if my man ain't rooting the way that Corey Graves be rooting for her, he's gone. He's out the door. He's to the left. That's all I know.
Their support, I think, for a lot of people, it kind of turned them off. But I think now, just kind of like seeing their relationship and how he supported her and everything that she's going through and how he does, I think we appreciate it more. And I think we also need a time to miss Carmella, and she's been through a lot, and she's back on her A game. In a new version of herself, and I think that's the perfect time to kind of go back and see how far she's come. There are rumors that she's going to be added to that championship match in a triple threat. So there's I see Justin's face, and when I say rumor, I mean speculation on wrestling Twitter.
Just like, who said that?
Yeah. It's like, who the hell said this?
I have to stop myself, because even when I see things on TikTok and I be like, yo, I know these people that do this, and I'm like, wait, let me clarify. I don't know them. I seen it on TikTok, but I never thought about it. She is hot right now. She does have history with Bianca. She has history with Asuka. She beat Asuka twice. So I don't know. So yeah, stay tuned for our Carmella Spotlight. We also have new merch coming in honor of Women's Month. Happy Women's Month. We like to call it Women's Empowerment Month. One of my favorites, right off the heels of Black History Month. So we will be having a lot of panels, interviews with women in wrestling. So please watch out for that. Shout out to WWT Live. I was on there today with the wonderful Ella J and TK Trinidad. I love women's wrestling talk. It's so fun being on there, every Wednesday when I can. And it's a wonderful community over there. So I have some content coming out with them this month. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And we also have some merch coming out in honor of Women's Empowerment Month in partnership with For Your Wear. So please stay tuned for that as well. We have a lot of things coming. You know, we're busy people. Things get in the way of things, but we do have a lot coming this month, and we're really excited to share it with you. And of course, we got Patreon content every week, including Krista B Sounds Off playbacks are exclusively on Patreon. It's $1 a month. So make sure you subscribe because we got fun content coming on there as well. We actually also did our website, thosewrestlinggirls.com. So now you have one place where you can actually see everything.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you. It's been like one of those things that's like on the list of things to do, and we finally did it. You know, we just wanted somewhere where you can see everything. It's gonna evolve just like Those Wrestling Girls does. So check out thosewrestlinggirls.com where you can get everything that we have coming. Hi, Rakosha.
Can we give them a quick tour?
Sure.
Okay, you know, shoot.
Ooh, tour.
Let's
We
see
like
what
tours.
we got. We like tours. We nosy up in here. Ooh.
Is it up there? Okay, cool.
It is up there. Yeah, so you can literally see like everything that we have going on.
Oh, look at that. I like that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
I love those photos from our events. And it's really good to just be able to say, like, go to thosewrestlinggirls.com. It's not like completely finished.
Love her.
I love her too. If anyone has done a website, you know that it's never really finished.
Oh, look at the crew.
It's like one of those things. So yeah, it's nice to be able to have everything in one place. Oh, look at the bros. Look at the fan club.
It's the bestest friends that anybody can have.
I love it so much.
And then you got the date right there, like you know where it was.
Nice. So that you don't miss it next time.
Oh my God. And me and Krista B, shout out to Krista B, we are already planning our 5th anniversary event. So that's going to be amazing. We're trying to, okay, I was about to give it all away, Krista B.
Yeah, tush.
So
if they that we're shape shifting, they're going to tell the church.
But when I'm excited about things, it's really hard for me to keep it.
And that's why, as friends, we're here to keep you accountable to make sure you don't do that shit.
Hold it in.
I very much appreciate that. But Krista B actually has a new Patreon show. Ooh. So you spend that $1 a month, girl, you get more Those Wrestling Girls content, and you get to see these people again on more stuff.
We had a lot of fun.
Krista B and Justin. It's a spinoff of Krista B Sounds Off, and it's Getting Checked with Krista B and friends. And you guys talk about the WWT, the video game rankings.
Oh, you mean the 4th train wreck this week that is of the ranking system in WWE? Yeah, we talked about that. But the only thing
deserves better.
And you're going to hear why when you sign up for that Patreon for Those Wrestling Girls to hear what we really felt about that. Because we were in our feels. For real.
Big time.
Big time.
The more I'm seeing more ratings as they're coming, I'm like, oof. But you guys really, as usual, have really good perspective on these ratings, especially having seen them from being a video game, having a video game perspective, because I'm not a gamer, but just to see like how, the women are ranked, it's really good content. So make sure you guys go check that out. Krista B Sounds Off every Friday at 3. Appreciate that, Brian. On Twitch as usual. So we have, it's so much going on in our universe. You know how it is.
The graphics right there.
Slide. That graphic is awesome. Look at those cuties.
Yeah, I love that. I feel so pretty in that picture.
I love you. Are so pretty.
I'm about to tweet this. Tell people subscribe.
Yeah. But yeah, so we I want to take a quick break before we get into this show. But as you know, fan club every Wednesday here on Twitch. Let's get into it.
And we got a special Thirsty Thursdays coming up too. We're gonna dive more into that too.
Absolutely.
All right, then we're gonna make this We're gonna
We
be
gonna
all right.
Be all right.
I love
Humidity, you feel me?
song. And I love that.
I have to say that song, like you be real Black Panther when you hear that song live.
Oh.
Because when I went to see Kendrick Lamar during that tour, everybody was in their feelings. Kendrick just had that. Oh,
yeah, and it's the perfect song for that for your word design. So it's like all together. But you're right. Before we get into things, I do want to remind people that Thirsty Thursday is next Thursday, second Thursday of every month, but it's a very special one because it's CRISTA B's birthday. It's her actual birthday. So you gotta show up. You gotta show out. You gotta get your drinks ready, whatever you drink, water,
get your cash apps ready,
coffee. Get your cash apps ready. It is
get
gonna
your
be
Venmo
a
ready.
Party. We have a special guest, as you can imagine. So make sure you're there. That actually streams everywhere: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Literally, anywhere you can imagine. You can stream on LinkedIn now.
Yo,
what?
Yeah, shout out to homie Drew Willingham was on LinkedIn the other day streaming.
They have a live function.
Can you?
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go live
that.
on LinkedIn tonight.
I think you should, Brian. You be the test dummy.
So here's what happens though. It will take away from Twitter and I can't live cut the show. So I just thought about it.
That's
but yeah.
But Queen PR put me onto that.
I put you onto everything. So
Justin, what did we do the other day? Pew, 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 pew.
Let me get my kicked out of the club music ready. I feel like it's gonna be like one of those type of nights.
It's only been 12 minutes.
I know, but I woke up very excited for this show today. Like I just have like a really good feeling. I feel like the people that are here with us. Shout out to everyone in the comments.
Shout out to me and my best friend. I was talking to her about it and she was like, yeah, I was watching. Y'all should have like a poster of all the things that get you kicked out of the club. So guess what? I got me up on Canva and that list is coming very, very soon. So we actually have created a list of things that will get you out of the Friends Club. And then she was like, you should put Justin there. But I'm like, no, we're going to give Justin a break because he hasn't gotten kicked out. He has not gotten kicked out consecutively in 2 clubs. So that's the record. We can't put him on the list. But we will have phrases, words, things that go in the box that will get you kicked out of fan club.
Yeah.
So you just said you doing graphics, shorty?
We're playing around with graphics on Canva. We're being amateurs.
You doing graphics.
We're being amateur. We're playing around with it. We're playing around with it.
I'm excited. Okay. Let's go.
I'm excited for that.
I will definitely give you content.
We finally learned what SVJ means. We finally learned what all that means.
Yeah.
We finally got it together. So.
And for those that don't know this, Seindole is also a very talented photographer.
And video creator.
I feel and video creator. I don't know if a lot of people know that, so I'm just gonna put that out there because I have known my girl for a very long time and she's very talented. So I'm very excited for everything that you have going on as well. So I just, I gotta give you your flowers.
Word. I've been very heavy on TikTok and Instagram because that's where the fans start showing themselves. Like the DMs are active now because of these little videos, these reels. So if you want to check my work,
go on my active DMs.
They go down in the DMs.
Some of them are getting ignored. I want DMs from specific guys, so we're just not gonna. Which we know it's cute to get them.
Of course. But real quick, I know we have a rundown. I don't want our producers to get on me. But one thing, just speaking of DMs, that I just want to address that really bothered me this week. I really need wrestlers, celebrities in general, to stop engaging trolls on social media.
Please do.
Please don't. Like, I don't even know what happened with Saraya and that Stan account. Like, I don't even honestly want to know. For once, I didn't even go through the thread and find out the cause of it. I'm just disappointed that Saraya is even engaging this person. Like, you are on TV every week doing your dream job. Why are you engaging these people? You're literally just giving them the platform that they want. You know what I mean? Like, you block it's so unfortunate because there's accounts out there that love Saraya that, post about her all day long. Engage those accounts.
Right.
Don't engage, don't give this one the shine. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and my advice for that is mute. Just mute that account and move on with your life. Like,
it's called
You
block.
are a millionaire. Why do you care what anyone is saying on
Block,
Twitter?
block,
Do
block.
what Beyonce does. Drop whatever you need to drop and log the fuck off and go touch grass. Why do you care what any of us have to say on Twitter? Especially like the negative comments. Like, what are you doing? Like, you have more to lose than we do. Like, we can just talk shit and go about our day. You say the wrong thing, you can get fired.
Yeah, and it's like, why even waste your time and energy? You know what I mean? Taekwon with the smoke, Brian.
Damn, why it's the fire isn't even lit.
Now I'm about to really trigger
him.
So.
Oh
no, I'm gonna trigger him. You know why? Because WrestleMania 9 is like one of the greatest WrestleMania 9s ever. I mean, WrestleMania with the perfect.
I mean,
ending.
we ain't say all that, but.
I mean, we got your back though, but like, we don't push it. No.
We got your back, but I want you drug tested for that comment.
First of all,
see, I ain't even say all that. I just said it's a bit much. That's all I said.
It was a good WrestleMania. You cannot take 6-year-old me out of it when every time I watch it. I just watched it the other day.
Personally, for you,
Cruz.
right?
Yeah. The homie Randy Cruz. We're gonna break this down. Me, him, and Graham from Bleacher Report next week.
And he just dropped the Hollywood in it. There you go. Drop the Hollywood in there. Well, this is my favorite WrestleMania 9, and me and this person that's well known. This person's well known. Go and talk about it.
You can't see. It's not name dropping. It's not name dropping if you're a celebrity as well, because your circle are celebrities. So it's like if you're hanging out with them and you're telling the story of your life, then it's fine.
I hang out and do a show with the great Queen PR, the great Seindole, and the great Justin Rich. That is me getting close to being a celebrity. I ain't there yet, but I'm hanging with celebrities.
Thank you, Cole. No, I appreciate this. So speaking of WrestleMania, we are in WrestleMania season. Ella J reminded me that we have 9 nights of TV, I think, until that weekend.
9 nights, yeah.
Wow.
So we have 9 chapters of a story that we can tell, which is a lot. It's a little bit, whatever. But we do have a big thing that happened that really does put Mania into perspective. Lita and Becky Lynch are the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
Can we get a clap sound for that?
If you didn't know this, you are fucking living under a rock. Shout out to these queens. This is very, very, very exciting because it's not something that I would have ever thought was like, if you told me like, what's a prediction that you have or something, this would not be in the cards. Also, the tag team championships are one of those things that is kind of fitted out in the background, and Damage Control unfortunately wasn't able to defend them a lot of times, as is the case normally with tag team championships, and now they lost them. They may not have a spot at Mania, so there's a lot to unpack with Lita coming back. But first off, what was your reaction to this moment? Did you kind of see it coming? How do you feel about Lita being back?
My initial reaction.
Wait, let me say this first, because ain't not none bad, no analysts here or nothing. If I can grade this match, I'm gonna give it a 5, and that's because I'm just happy that Lita finally got her lick back for all the things they made Lita do back in the day, post Matt and Edge scandal, like from the naked party in the bedroom in the middle of the ring. Yes, thank you for putting the scoreboard up there. All that. Lita's the best. Her and Becky have great chemistry. You already know both Lita and Becky can wrestle their ass off. And story build up. For it to come from Elimination Chamber last year to now, and they're like, all right, we're gonna fight the system together. They're both, to me, the anti-establishment, whether they want to look at it or not. They're both the anti-establishment. Lita was for that back then. Becky kind of is for now. They're both their identity. But again, I'm happy to see my girl Amy Dumas get her lick back for how she was treated on her way out from WWE, and now she's finally full circle. And she's always wanted to be a tag champion, probably with Trish, but since she's doing it with Becky, I'm satisfied with that. And that's all I got to say. Way to get your lick back, sis, because they owe you. Now y'all can talk.
Do you want to try and follow that, Brian?
Yeah, I will try. First of all, that's why they said Seindole scoreboard, because I don't understand it being a 5. No offense, but I thought it was a good match. I just didn't think it was a 5, especially when Mercedes Monet didn't get a 5.
You want me to repeat why I said it was a 5?
You telling
It's
me that
Women's
match?
History Month. It's
I
Women's
know,
History
I
Month.
know.
I don't care. I don't care.
I'm going down
Listen,
dangerous ground, but this match did happen in February. So you telling me that match was better than Mercedes Monet?
it wasn't. But here's the thing. Again, for Lita's sake, and for what happened in the past, because we all love the past. That's why people talk about the Attitude Era 500 freaking times a year, and that's why people are still afraid of Tuck Togan. Still, but like I said, this is reparations for Lita for what happened back then, because she wasn't told there were certain things that she had to endure that if it hadn't happened, she'd still be Hall of Fame. But in my mind, there were a lot of things that she deserved, and she still didn't get what she deserved. This moment she deserved. Like it was always just her and Trish. It was rare for us to see her and someone else. In the uniqueness that it is rare. When was the last time you saw Lita team with anybody else?
You jumping the shark. We can't jump the shark just yet. Because
I
have a counterpoint. I have a follow up for that. But what I will say to answer PR's question, the thing that I kind of, we've been watching wrestling long enough. So when we saw that this was the main event, we knew what was going to happen. It went from let's say a 50% chance to a 99.9% chance. But the moment was still awesome, right? Because to see Lita, to see Becky Lynch get this opportunity, the moment was still awesome. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't like the greatest match, but it had some moments, and that's the thing. I'd rather give me moments than give me a 5-star match that I'm not going to remember. You know what I mean? So I'm fine with it, but we'll talk more about the Trish Stratus of it all.
So we won't give it a 4. We won't give it a 5.
Okay? No, that's your rating.
No.
That's
mean, okay. I'm a good. So 4.5 though.
You give it a 5, just like
it was.
You get a 5, just like Brian gives WrestleMania 9, like the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Nostalgia. We get it.
Oh my God, Justin! We just talked about you not getting kicked out the club.
I wouldn't be me if I wasn't pushing the boundaries for like, where's the exit? All right, let me just stay in.
See, that's all Brian. I don't. WrestleMania 9 sucked, but I would not kick anyone out the club for thinking that. So
Brian said 99.9% probability they were changing the titles. I was more like, what the fuck is happening? Because just because like they main event is like, all right, we've seen the women main event and we don't have titles changing hands. But it was speaking to the question of the way this WrestleMania card is shaping out. How are we going to get Becky Lynch on this card? Because you cannot leave a healthy Becky Lynch off of WrestleMania. So you got Lita, and there's been a lot of dirt sheet rumors about Lita and Trish, or just Lita, maybe Becky and Lita going as champions. There's a lot of hyperbole, but for me, around this time, I don't care what the dirt sheets say, because none of y'all are ever going to be right until we get to the shows and we actually see it unfold, because things can always change. So as the match is happening, I'm like, all right, I'm watching the match. It's a good match, and I'm just like, wait, are they really about to do this? And it didn't hit until Trish came out. And then I was like, oh, fuck, they're about to do this. And then once you got the 1, 2, 3, I was just like, what the fuck is happening? New tag team champions? Because like this has been a reclamation project for Triple H for like the last 9 months of bringing back the women's tag team titles, reestablishing the women's tag team titles, trying to make sense. That way, like, we have other stuff for the women to do other than go after Bianca, go after Ronda, go after Charlotte. And I feel like Damage Control kind of got drawn a bad hand, because like ever since they got those tag team titles back, they really haven't had any teams to really go after. And that's really an indictment on WWE. And I was saying this on Turnbuckle Talk the other day, because it's like they didn't really properly invest in this women's division, because you have a lot of women that's not really doing much, and that could have been like, you put them together, see if they work, and have them feud with Damage Control. That way, like Io Sky, Dakota Kai have something to do. So it felt like when Sasha and Naomi took the titles off of Zelina Vega and Carmella, where Zelina and Carmella never really got to defend those titles. So it's like, it's cool that our girls won, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but the other girls got drawn a bad hand because they never really got to defend them either. So it's kind of a hollow title reign. So I'm looking at both sides like, it's a cool moment, but it's like, damn, they really could have done better with this Damage Control run.
I agree, and they only defended it, I think, maybe once or twice since they've been
only
champion
twice.
for what, over a little over 2 months maybe.
Yeah,
and they never defended them. And honestly, I feel like there's no excuse. There's a lot of talent that's not being used to build up a tag division at this point. It's like the same old thing. I am excited for the nostalgia aspect, Lita being back, Trish being back, but I do feel like this, building the tag division for the women would have easily given 4 women a WrestleMania moment. And now it's like there's Becky in the spotlight as per usual. I love Lita, I love Trish, and then hopefully, I don't know if it's going to be Damage Control that's going to challenge them for it. A lot of people are saying Ronda and Shayna are going to be the ones because apparently Ronda has been interested in the tag team division, and you're not really going to leave her off an LA-based WrestleMania card. So it's kind of, so it really does rob Damage Control a little bit of that moment, because I look at Mania as like the reward of working hard and building something up, and Damage Control are like 2-time champions, and they should be able to defend them or at least walk in as champions. And then like you said, Justin, it really is up in the air with this situation. But I want to go into Trish Stratus and where she fits into this, because I always have one of those things where, I like for Lita to, have her own spotlight. And, Ella J reminded me on WWT Live that she did have her moment when she challenged Becky last year. But, why does Trish really need to be involved in this if Lita is a tag team champion with Becky? And she's in the middle. She's in the championship photos. And I didn't even think about her possibly like turning heel, because do Lita and Trish do they stay after Mania? And if they do stay after Mania, what's the story? So how do you guys see Trish fitting into this?
I mean, I could definitely see her turning heel, and to be honest with you, I would never say this about Edge or some of the other guys, but I would be down for Trish and Lita to be semi full-time, if not full-time superstars for a whole year. I think, considering the way they would, elevate the women's division, and not saying it needs elevation, but just you can't go wrong with their star power. So if there was a thing where, she was working with Damage Control or working with Becky Lynch or something, sort of the way Ric Flair and Roddy Piper was working during the Ruthless Aggression era, and they was out there every week. I mean, they were the tag team champions. If you gave me that with Trish and Lita, even if you put them in a feud with each other, and it was away from the championship, because what it would say is, hey, we didn't get to let y'all cook back in the day, but we're gonna let y'all cook now. I already feel like the women's tag division, the problem is, in my opinion, is the fact that you have women's tag titles on NXT. I felt when with Sasha and Becky, Bayley wanted to do was defend it everywhere. And if they could have brought it back that way, that would have been fine. Like I seen in the chat, they said bring up King Diabetes said Carter and Chance, bring them to the main roster, the best tag team on best women's tag team in all of WWE. Absolutely. Yeah. But I think with Trish Stratus right here, she's doing subtle things, and maybe because I just watched WrestleMania 20 when she turned on turned on Jericho in that whole love triangle thing. But I'm like, she's kind of planting seeds, because you look at the way WWE do things, right? Usually when they're doing a photo shoot and there's the other person, you have the champions in front and then you have that person behind them, So in this situation, why is she front and center? Like even in this photo, you know what I mean? Why is she the one in the middle?
I was honestly thinking the same exact thing, where it's a tag team, it's two, like it's no need for you. Like, and I should say no need for you. I love seeing Trish, but when she didn't show up in Canada, I was like, okay, well, that's fine, because we have Lita. Like, she came, she didn't. Now I'm just like, why? but it could be her planting them seeds. That storytelling, Trish is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be here for it. We haven't seen a heel Trish since she retired.
Facts.
So that can be very, very interesting.
And you know what? Like these ladies, like in Trisha's case, like her children a little bit older, just like with Beth Phoenix, right? So we're kind of blessed with this like bonus run from them.
Yeah. 100%. I really hope that we get more of like the legends coming back, because I always complain about how like older male champions are treated like they're the best thing ever because they're able to come back for after a long time and do all these amazing things. And I feel like the women should have those same opportunities. So this could be the start of that, and hopefully it's not just a Mania thing. I hope Lita and Trish stay around.
As was just having that same conversation with someone. We were talking about like the one reason why he doesn't watch WrestleMania anymore is because he realized that he was watching The Undertaker fight the same people twice. And I think it was it after Hollywood that Undertaker fought Shawn Michaels and then shot him again? And then he fought
26.
And then he fought Triple H back to back. And he said that he said he saw that they were doing Triple H again. He didn't watch it. He skipped that year's WrestleMania and watched the WrestleMania where CM Punk fought Undertaker, because he's like, it's repetitive. Like, why do the males keep coming back? He was like, why do males keep coming back knowing they're taking the spotlight like somebody else? And then he didn't also understand why everybody was pissed with Brock Lesnar taking it from Undertaker. And then he was like, in the chat, there were a lot of, because he used to run Reddit. He was saying in the chat, people were pissed that it wasn't Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And I'm like, why would y'all want it to be them? Y'all complain about fresh meat. Brock Lesnar, if it wasn't Brock Lesnar, it was bound to be somebody else who was young. Like, a lot of people thought CM Punk was going to do it. That I was like, no. I said, this is going to be an entertaining match. Love my dude. No, that would have not set well with anybody. The perfect person was Brock Lesnar. You need somebody that you're absolutely going to be disgusted with. And at the time, it was Brock.
Look what Brock did after he beat Undertaker. He murders John Cena to take that title. He goes on an amazing title run. We get the triple threat at Royal Rumble with him, Seth, Cena. We get an amazing WrestleMania 31 match with him and Brock where Seth cashes in. We get another great Brock and Seth match. And you see, like, Brock has been that guy where Vince is put at the top of the card. Anytime Brock wrestles, it's like must-see TV. So him really taking that trampoline jump off of beating Taker and parachuting up to the top of the card and really being that guy that's like the final boss and shit like that. Like Roman took like multiple tries to finally beat him and stuff like that. Like Brock being it was the right choice, because you just see like what he did since then, how they booked him since then, and how the company like revolved around it.
Yeah, and I just feel like whenever a legend works with somebody, it turns to gold. So I feel like Becky, with Becky, she deserves this touch of gold, especially from someone like Lita, who's decorated. And what role Trish plays, even if it wasn't meant to be, have her play a role, her for just to be there, it's gonna look good on her. Yep. Whatever the outcome's gonna be, whether they lose this belt in 2 months, then that means she can hop right back into the picture power. If Rhea is to take this title from Charlotte, who's to say that Becky's not going to be the next one to go after it? So a lot's going to involve from this. And I feel like them having the tag titles, honestly, Becky deserves it, because if I'm understanding, this is her first tag team run, right?
Yep. Now she's officially a triple crown champion.
So she deserves this.
SmackDown, Raw, and now tag team champion.
She deserves this.
I think so too, and I think this is fun. It's not something that we expected her to do going into Mania, but I am happy for them. So switching gears to another Mania match, well, one that we already know is happening, is Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. So they've had their history, and now they kind of have a do-over, in my opinion. The story hasn't really developed yet. They haven't really, WWE has done well in kind of like teasing their interaction. Even when Rhea popped up on SmackDown, they didn't really do much. She came into the ring, and also it wasn't really about Rhea on SmackDown. It was very much about Dominic and Charlotte's exchange, which I love. Okay, I love every minute of it. I know wrestling Twitter is very divided on how they feel about Dominic. I know CRISTA B is 100% not a fan. I am 100% into everything that he's doing. I think he gets funnier every time he is on my television screen.
You know what's... Go ahead, P, but I like it.
I do too. And I think him and Charlotte's back and forth was really good. There were some cringy parts, but that's beside the point. I do think that he held his own on the mic with Charlotte, and it was entertaining, and it was a great way to have Rhea involved, but kind of not have her involved because they can still kind of tease them being face to face. But how are you guys into it? Are you feeling Dominic? Do you see this road to WrestleMania?
Just in your face.
Hold up. There's your answer.
Yo, not for nothing though. At first, everybody, it's just so weird because we went from clowning his wrestling skills, but what he lacks a little bit in the ring, he's making up for in character wise. Because dude, you spent 3 minutes in a precinct and you managed to like master it. That's winning a lot of people over and make it entertaining. The whole Valentine's Day dinner made everything entertaining. And so it would be, I'm not gonna lie, it would have been weird to me. It would have been a faux pas, in my opinion, on the writer's spot if they just like drafted everything to just be in Rhea and Charlotte and had not involved Dominic. Like, this to me is the best case scenario because now you have, what do they call it? A wild card. Now he's on her side. Like, Rhea, she went in there last year, challenged Charlotte. She was solo dolo. She was being cocky with it. But now it's like, like I said, the whole deviant heel comes into play. But now he's kind of like, and I hate to use this, like, what's the guy that Carmella had on her side when she was the bank? You need that. You need it. And I'm laughing because that's the vibe it's giving me. Like, I know he's meant to be like a chulo and be hard and be like a bad child because Ray still ain't take his slipper and hold across the room at him. But like, it's working to the point where like, I didn't think that Carmella was going to win Money in the Bank until Ellsworth showed up to help her. What if we get that same scenario at WrestleMania and we don't know about it? I don't see her daddy coming out from his like from the bar to be like, oh, let me help you fight this young. I don't see that.
See, I don't think, I'm sorry, Ryan, but I really feel like Dominic being on SmackDown was also a segue in him being able to attack Ray and that leading to something. So honestly, I don't think he's going to have anything to do with Charlotte and Rhea Ripley personally, but I don't know. I liked it. I think
it does. I think it does. I think we won't know until we see the official card for WrestleMania. But either whether it's Dominic, fighting his daddy, I think he's still going to be involved some way, somehow. I don't know how. It's something like itching in me. That's like, if he's not involved, at least with the mind game part of everything leading up to that day, the whole storyline, them being together, them being him calling her mommy is a waste. Like, why would you be all this and not like help your mommy out win the championship?
I understand exactly what you're saying. I understand both of y'all, but I honestly believe Dominic is going to have his hands full. And the thing is, because what I did like was the fact that Rhea went over there and she handled Charlotte by herself at first, made her announcement by herself. But I do like the dynamic of her and Dominic being able to bridge that gap and make himself make sense being out there saying, hey, we both have, deadbeat dads and stuff like that. That's what made it so much funny. And here comes a celebrity joke, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it because this is what really happened. So last week when he spoke with Rosenberg, I was, producing that interview, and right before, he was in character, like beforehand, like saying, well, he better get here because he's gonna find out what I did to people in the pen when they play with my time.
I love that he was still in kayfabe.
That right there sold me.
Oh my God. I would have been dying
the whole time.
I'm telling you, like, he went from being like oh, you just your daddy's like tag team son. It's so generic.
Exactly.
So like, yo, this is entertaining. Like, I literally was watching SmackDown. It was when we were doing the Patreon episode, and I'm like, I really want to hear what he has to say, 'cause I know he's gonna say some dumbass shit. But it was even better than being dumbass shit. He was just like shooting shit. See, where you could see, like, all right, I'm irritated with you. Like, I'm irritated with you. Where's your girlfriend?
Like, where was he? You know what I mean? And then, like, even saying, like, well, you know, I'm Eddie's son in WWE story, you know, with the hair and everything. And he says, people get mad, I'm gonna keep doing it. And
yo, he is starting to look like Eddie.
He is.
He is. That mullet was mulleting on Friday.
The mullet is real.
And that's the reason why, like, I don't think he's
laid and slayed.
He'll be celebrating. You know what I mean? Because like Carmella's character, we wasn't supposed to believe she could win it by herself. As much as I hate James Ellsworth, we wasn't supposed to believe. You know, she was supposed to be sly. Rhea is a dominant character, so she's gonna go out there, she's gonna win the championship, and then he's gonna talk about the celebration, and you know, P gonna ask her again, and then she's gonna invite everybody out, and that's how it's gonna be.
That's how it's gonna
be. And then to piggyback on your guys' point, like the Rhea and Dom stuff, we're looking at the evolution of Charlotte and Rhea. We're talking about final bosses like with Brock. Charlotte Flair is the final boss in the women's division. We have seen Charlotte and Rhea multiple times where Charlotte's came down to Rhea's level when Rhea was NXT champion and took that title off of her, and Rhea never got that back. We also seen Charlotte when Rhea won that title off of Asuka at WrestleMania 37, but right after her, take that title off her, Rhea never got that back. So if you're Rhea Ripley, what needs to change? Because every time I come across this person, she kicks my ass, she takes the title, and I never get it back. Right. And I lose a part of me in the process. So with Dom being the wild card, that's the thing that she's been missing. Yes, she's been on a great run. Yes, she's kind of running Judgment Day, but now she has someone to kind of watch her back. And also, she's a heel this time around, so she's like, "Yo, I'll go through any fucking means to beat you." That's how bad I want to beat you. It's a little reminiscent of like Stone Cold Rock WrestleMania 17, where Stone Cold's like, "I need to beat you for this title. I have to beat you." And Rhea's at that point where it's like, "I've lost to you numerous times. I've lost to you at WrestleMania already. I've lost to you going into SummerSlam. I lost to you at SummerSlam. I lost to you at NXT TakeOver. I've yet to get over this hill. I need to fucking beat you."
I love
that you're there, then so be it.
Right. And I love that you compared it to Rock and Stone Cold, because it came from a real place as well. Like, very much so. Like, where I am going to lose a part of myself if I need to win this match for so many different reasons. And I think
like I have a point to prove.
Right. And I think with Rhea, it's the same exact thing, because she was open about the fact that her losing to Charlotte did take a little bit from her, did take a little bit of her confidence. And I will say, as someone who believed in Rhea Ripley's momentum up until, like, you know, even when NXT took over Survivor Series, and when she lost to Charlotte, there was a part of me that kind of was like, all right, meh, kind of womp womp. She has been able to build that back up, and now she's a star in her own right. And now this is the time for Rhea Ripley to redeem herself. And like we said, if Dom is a part of it, whether he's not a part of it, it's going to be Rhea's moment.
This is the Rhea Ripley redemption tour. Just get on board and watch where it goes. If she loses, man, then she needs to like literally.
That's gonna be bad.
If she loses, she needs to beat Charlotte into oblivion, like that next SmackDown, because then
it'll
be like what, 5 in a row that she's lost to Charlotte, and she just needs to just snap and just beat the living.
But
that's something that they
much
can
as I
actually
love
use.
the Queen, I don't think that's happening.
But check it. I don't think we've really seen this in the women's division where someone really got a vicious beatdown, unlike some Brock Lesnar beating the fuck out of someone.
What are you talking about? Didn't Sasha get one from Bailey? That was the reason why I remember it, because I remember my daughter. That was like her first memory. Like,
she did, but I'm thinking more than that, because I think if Rhea loses to Charlotte Mania, I'm thinking go take that as your baseline and go beyond it. Like, really beat the fuck out of Charlotte.
We don't have the license to say that during Women's History Month. The orchestrate the violence that I vision that you want to see.
Not on this month, honey. You better bring it back. You better bring it back on April 1st when you talk about it.
I'm trying to help you not get kicked out of the club, brother.
I'm saying.
I'm wearing
black today. I'm wearing a bouncer's outfit.
I'm just saying. You asked the question, if Rhea loses, where do we go? And I'm like, yo, murder, death, kill time.
I wouldn't have said that if I knew you was going to go there. Sheesh.
Justin's trying to watch out for your safety, homie.
Justin, like you said, doesn't get close to the line, then it's like, are you really at fan club? Like,
you're right. You're right. We need Justin to be
things that you have to expect at the fan club every Wednesday, and that is Justin pushing the line, almost getting kicked out.
You know what it gives me? You ever been in school and you got that? You ever been in school and you got that one kid that's just like the deviant, like he's the one that sees the fire alarm and his hands just like this, and he's looking at his classmates and he's ready to pull that shit.
Don't touch it, and then he touches it.
Yep.
I'm just thinking from a logical place of someone that's yet to beat Charlotte Flair when it matters most, and if she takes another WrestleMania loss, where do you go from there with Rhea? And I feel like you got to go down into a deep spiral.
Yeah.
I'm excited for how they tell the story in the next 9 shows until Mania. But in the meantime, let's take a break, and then we'll get into the other Women's Championship feud going into Mania.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, KRISTA B, one half of those wrestling girls, and we hope that you're enjoying this current episode that we have for you. You know I had to come in here and interject and plug ourselves real quick. We want to tell you about our merch exclusively on foryourwear.com. That's right, For Your Wear has all of those wrestling girls merch that you want and need, not only for yourself, but for your friends, your family, and your loved ones. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have tank tops. So please go over to foryourwear.com to make sure you get those exclusive merch, those exclusive deals, and tell them that TWG sent you.
Shout out to KRISTA B celebrating her birthday next Thursday. For Thirsty Thursday live stream. Make sure you're there. Streaming everywhere. Starting at 7. Oh no, actually 6. Yeah, 6. Special start time.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yo, that's like because we got grown women shit to do over here on the East Coast with her, so it's gonna be a little early.
That sound like back in the day when the pay-per-views. Special start time. WrestleMania starting at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Shout out to Rakarsha. Her and Chris are actually birthday twins.
Hey,
salute.
Her birthday, so make sure you have a lot to drink because we're going to be celebrating.
And shout out to the sponsor For You Aware, because I actually got a nice little package on Friday, and it's to honor another great female Black woman led podcast. Shout out to All Elite Geeks.
That's what's up.
That is a dope design too.
I love this design so much. I'm like, yeah, we gotta have that. And it's a lot happening with that, and I can't wait to the end of the show to tell you what's going on. It's gonna be an exclusive, so if you weren't tuning into this fan club, you won't hear it again for a while. But I can't wait to talk about the news. So, but again, shout out to For You Where. I love this. I can't wait to rock this. Can't wait.
Cute. So let's get into Asuka and Bianca. This is one of those
10 across the board.
Right. Where I am all the way here. Like, I kind of am okay with whoever wins. So Asuka and Carmella had a match. And Bianca came out and they faced off, and then Carmella kind of intervened. But how are we so far feeling, this tension going into this championship match with Asuka and Bianca?
It's a good challenging build. Like we've rarely seen Bianca and Asuka. So it's nice to see something new. In my opinion. I think that's where Brian was going. I'm not sure. I cut you off. My bad.
Do it. I just think it reminds me of Shinsuke AJ Styles. And if you remember that, the match at WrestleMania, if we're being honest, was disappointing. But the reason why it was disappointing was because, one, it was so much that happened earlier. Shout out to one of the greatest WrestleMania matches ever, Charlotte and Asuka. But what also made it, because we was expecting a chapter closing not the beginning of a new chapter. And I think these two ladies, and maybe in this case 3, they're going to take us into the spring season, the Money in the Bank, the SummerSlam season of wrestling. So I think we're getting things started. I won't give a prediction of the winner or loser right now. We'll save that for the WrestleMania edition of Fan Club. But I honestly, truthfully believe that this right here is it's going to take us for a ride. So I'm really excited about it. But I love that every week we see Bianca kind of have to go into a different level. And if you've been paying attention to her last year to this year, you've seen her evolve. First it was Becky, then it was Bayley, and now it's Asuka. So I'm excited.
I love where this is heading, and I love where we're gonna get at WrestleMania, because if anyone's gonna really push Bianca to her limits, it's gonna be Asuka. Asuka is like unquestionably one of the greatest. She's one of the greatest to ever do it. She's one of the greatest in the division. Like, everyone sings her praises from like the top levels down. They love working with Asuka, but Asuka brings a different energy in the ring that Bianca's never seen before. She's never seen that with Becky. She's never seen that with Bayley. She's never seen that with Alexa. So Asuka's really gonna push her in a way that the Mania match is really 50-50 for me. Just like Brian brought up with Charlotte Asuka, that was another one that was 50-50. Whereas, like, I could see Asuka staying undefeated, but I could see Charlotte taking this one, but I have no idea where this is going to go, because this is the first time Bianca and Asuka are really feuding like this. So it's also new territory for Bianca, where it's like, this ain't someone you've actually touched with before. And we haven't seen the kind of side where, like, for people that know the kind of story, we know where Asuka can go with this. And that's something that I don't know if Bianca's gonna be ready for those deep waters, even though we've seen the evolution for this past year. I can't wait.
I ain't doubting no black woman.
Not even that, not even doubting her, but like, this is like exactly what you guys both piggybacked off of. Like, this is a very unpredictable match at this point, because we know that Bianca can task any God favorite task that comes upon our sister, praise her. But for the first time in a long time, you have people that are like, do y'all remember New Japan Pro Wrestling? Do y'all remember old Kana Asuka? Do y'all remember Kana was Kana before Asuka was Asuka? And the only time that you got a sprinkle, and I'm going to say a sprinkle because she probably couldn't do the same thing she was doing back then, of this version of Asuka was first run Asuka, undefeated NXT Asuka. The same Asuka that choked Bayley out to win that title is the same Asuka you're probably going to get, and then some. So for me, it's just like, I really don't know where this match is going to go. The more of the wild card, and we saw the preview in it, if they do add Carmella into the match, that's going to be more of a bigger wild card, because you have two people that you know is 50-50 chance you're going to win. But what if the slight chance of somebody who also, I call her Spring Irish luck, because homegirl, like Money in the Bank, will have the luck of that to cash in. Also was lucky. She had the same, she always comes out being a wild card and actually benefiting from it. So if they put her in that match, now you really don't know where it's going to go. So all in all, to me, if I had to pick between both women's matches, I'm a little bit more excited about Bianca Asuka since this storyline is going, because we already know with Charlotte and Rhea, you going to get a whole bunch of back and forth between, and then you got Dominic, who's like the pet peeve, like he's the hornswoggle of the whole situation. You already know where he stands. That's just going to be two women batting each other to know, like, listen, you got me once, you got me twice, but this one, I really want to see where the build-up's going to lead, because even if the build-up doesn't show me who's going to win, now it's going to really make me want to watch the match and see who I got to root for, because for the first time, I don't know.
Think that's one thing that's exciting that we were talking about on WWT Live, is that a lot of the women's matches are up in the air. Like, it can go a lot of different ways. Like, we have a short amount of time to Mania, also a long amount of time, so it can go a lot of different ways. So I'm excited for.
And keep this in mind, Bianca's undefeated at WrestleMania. Asuka's winless at WrestleMania. So Asuka's going to be hungry to finally get off the schneid.
And a lot of people think it's Asuka's time, but we'll definitely get into that more closer to Mania, because there's so much more that needs to happen. There's a lot more time that needs to go on. I want to go into NXT. NXT is something that I have been more into lately, so this is very, very exciting. But How do you guys feel about Zoey Starks? I'm very curious because, you know, clearly she's very talented wrestler. She can go. She's a great worker. They obviously want to see where she can go, but for me, something's not connecting, and I would love to know like your thoughts on that.
This may get me kicked out for the first time. Yeah. She's giving me Molly Holly, conservative Molly Holly energy. I don't know if I'm the only person seeing, because you remember when Molly Holly got away from them whole Mighty Molly gimmick, and she was just like, "Oh, these girls are out here stealing my time and not really wrestling, so I'm gonna put on clothes to wrestle." And she started putting on the clothes and the pants and covering up her skin, but then she was bad mouthing, like the way she comes at Nakia Lyons for being in that game. She was just like, I guess if I was half naked, I'd be in WWE 2K2. She was valid in that. She was very good. She was good enough to fill in the Royal Rumble, but she wasn't good enough to be in the video. I get that. Get that, know that, understand that. However, now you're becoming annoying, because to me, Molly Holly was annoying, which is what the people, that's what the gimmick was. Her gimmick was to, I can wrestle without being half naked. You're gonna watch me now. But she was very rude about it, like, you're a skank, you're this, you're that.
Well, and Molly Holly had like personality.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, is giving that, but that's what I think she's lacking. She's lacking personality, which is not the easiest thing to get when all you're known is to just get in the ring and wrestle, which is what she was at before she got here. Wasn't a lot of mic work done when she was on this indie.
That's the one thing that sets you apart from being
right. There's no excuse for that too when you have Shawn Michaels there to walk you through that.
Hopefully that clicks, but I do want to remind people real quick that we do watch AEW Dynamite as a family in the fan club. So make sure you got, what is it, TNT?
TBS.
I don't even know anymore, girl.
The Go Home Dynamite before Revolution, which is this weekend. They have a finally we're up to their big pay-per-view.
I haven't even decided if I'm gonna go watch it. Like, I'm going to watch the show, but I don't know if I'm gonna go out and watch it.
Let me know, because I'm still 50-50 on this one. Like, I really want to watch the main event, but the rest of the card is like, I know we're gonna get great matches, but there's not a lot of heat on a lot of these matches.
Because
that's the thing.
I'm not gonna say nothing about that.
But speaking of heat, like you brought up Zoey Stark. I hate to say this, and ladies, please forgive me.
Let me get it ready.
Oh, she looks just too much like Elektra Lopez. When I look at them, the gear is almost similar. The look, like the way the hairstyle is, and I hate doing that, right? Because I don't like. So I say that for offline, but I don't like trying to do the whole comparison thing, right? But I'm looking at her and I'm like trying to like get invested. And to me, it shouldn't take me listening to you on a shoot program. Like I listen to her on Busted Open Radio and I say, okay, I want to root for her. It shouldn't take that, right? It shouldn't take me interviewing you. Say, oh, I want to. Okay, now I can get with you. Like Dominic Mysterio, I was sold on the character when he turned heel, and I watched him evolve. Let's be real, he got funnier after Prison Dawn. I don't know for Zoey Stark. I don't know what it's going to take. But even like when she walk out to the ring, she looked like she can fight. She looked like you're not going to mess with her. But it's still something. And the thing is, her and Meiko Satamura had a very good match on NXT.
That match is good.
So the wrestling is there. And it goes to show you, like, yeah, WWE is about larger than life. But what you don't want to happen, because this will eventually start happening with women like it's been happening with men, you'll get Curtis Axel. You'll get to be the person that's like, okay, you'll stay around, but your job is to get the next talent over or get our legends ready when they come back. So that's where I'm at. I want to see more from her because like I support all the women. I root for all the women. And so I really want to see her do well, but it's just not clicking right now. But
Does she need a mouthpiece? Is it one of those situations?
It might be, but here's the thing. Like I saw that she said this, that Shawn Michaels, which I'm a fan of producer Shawn, as I said, he's preaching to them, don't focus on just trying to get to the main roster. Sure, the money is obviously way better, but he wants them to focus on what's in front of them today.
Which is a good thing to tell them.
Exactly, because you know, when you look at the main roster, truthfully, if I'm being 100% honest, the only two people I'm putting on the main roster right now is the ones that was mentioned in the chat, the former tag champions. Everybody else, and that includes Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams.
No, you know what though? I
still
agree
have
with
stuff
you
I
on
want to
that.
see from them.
Right,
you know,
they still have a lot of work to do,
and that's what I see with everybody. Oh, sorry, obviously Meiko Satamura, because her and Asuka Kana would cook. But it would be a treat for the Japanese American fans. It would be a treat, and I think they would tell a beautiful story. But everybody else, I need to see them really like hone their craft and get me invested. Make me watch on Tuesday. And I tell you who did that last night? Tiffany Stratton. And
I did.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know what it, and then you know what it is, like Zoey Stark kind of composed at the complete different time, because with NXT 2.0, everybody got handed. Nobody was getting on NXT 2.0 without a personality. Realize that, like, every single person today that you are like, Mello wasn't getting on there without a personality. Yeah, Trick. Cora Jade wasn't getting on there. She was the skater chick. Braun Breaker was had the dog in him and all that, and was breaking people open. JD McDonough was the physician of pain. Waller was like Ms. 5.0 in my opinion, with the Jason Waller effect. Like, even all of them are on there with a personality, and then Zoey Stark is kind of cultivated into that. But she wasn't given a personality. Even Connor James, the lawyer, the lawyer, you know, her and right now following her doing the storyline, and it's entertaining. Why? Because they're all given a personality. Zoey Stark has not been handed a personality. She gets in the ring, and I'm like, what the fuck is your personality? Like her both, and Nikita. Nikita's there because she got a fat ass. She's white. Let's just call a spade, right?
She's found a way to use her personality.
Her personality, like Lash Legend, she's in there with a personality. Zoey Stark gets in there and she's like, I'm gonna let the ring work speak for myself. Right. Great. But if you really want us to either get annoyed with you or fall in love with you, you have to have something. And
even Baby Brock.
But I look at seriously, but I look at like,
I say that as a term of endearment, because she is like,
she has a personality, in my opinion. Like, she makes me want to tune in.
Right. Like Roxanne for a while, same thing. They said Roxanne didn't have personality, but then she started using the Prodigy, started talking about her stories, brought up the fact she was on Total Divas. Boom. Now you got people invested in her. But with Zoey, it's like, maybe if you turn into mini Molly Holly and just start disrespecting the hell out of these girls in the back,
because
it might work.
It could blur that line between how she probably really feels. And then maybe we can connect with her and get invested in her, because right now it's like nothing is clicking. But I think about, because there is potential in being those people that where you tell your story in a ring. Like, you could arguably say like a Bret Hart is that person, where it's just like he wanted his matches to matter, but then he also had personality, which a lot of people are. Shout out to Lovely, but
right.
With, or even like your favorite tag team, FTR, like they are one of those people where it's like, we're gonna tell our stories in the ring, but they got hella personality, in my opinion.
They do.
Like, I'm connected with them. I want to see them win. I want to see them, or I'm gonna care if they lose. With Zoey Stark, it's kind of like, you're gonna technically have a great match, but like, what else is there? And I'm really hoping that they do find something for her, because she is a very talented wrestler, and I think it's a loss if they don't try to find something for her. But I would now like to get into some news.
Ooh.
Very interesting. I don't want to use this phrase T, but Ariane Andrew, as you may know as Cameron, has been chatting, and she says that the reason why we
what else is new?
Exactly. So she has said that the reason why we haven't seen her in the ring is because she's recovering from shoulder surgery. So this is news to me. I had no idea that or Naomi was injured in that way. I had no idea that she was having surgery, recovering from surgery. What are your thoughts on that?
I would have preferred this coming from Naomi than
I was just about to say that,
Cameron, because it's like, did Naomi tell you did Trinity to really give you the permission to put that out there? And B, is like, I'd rather wait till Trinity comes back and then speaks on her own terms about what she was doing in the hiatus, probably the social surgery stuff, versus it coming from another person. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, Brian, this ain't it.
I ain't no.
Ooh.
This ain't it.
This ain't it. This ain't all right. Fine. Where is it? Yeah.
My guy, this is not it.
Being defiant here, producer. I don't know.
Cameron means well, but nah, we gotta hear that from Trinity, dude.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't her. I kind of agree with Justin. It wasn't her tea to spill. Like, spill tea about yourself. You could have just gave the mild version of like, listen, you could ask her about it, but instead you use that moment for you to be like, well, I know the people are going to want to hear this, so I'm gonna say this. Like, it wasn't in good taste. If that was really your friend, like, as example, if P's going through something, you're like, oh, what's going on with P? I'm gonna be like, ask P. Like, that's just type where I'm like, listen, I don't know, ask P. Or
so
Brian looks pissed. What's it about? Like, Brian, ex Brian.
Ooh, Brian got a rebuttal. Go ahead.
So if Dave Meltzer said the same thing, everybody would have jumped all over top of it and said, oh, did you hear? Trinity has a bad shoulder, and that's the reason why we didn't see it. If Sean Ross Sapp would have said it, y'all would have said the same thing. I personally would like to believe that two ladies who have a friendship that goes well over a decade, who have rode the roads together, I would like to believe that she gave her that information and said, I don't want to feed the wrestling journalist. I'd rather you go.
So you think it's okay a year from now to hear information that somebody probably didn't want to put out there because the friend put it out there? Is that what you're telling me?
No,
we didn't know. She didn't let us know.
Is that everybody's questioning this, but if Dave Meltzer would have said it, nobody would have a problem with it.
Man,
because
Meltzer's
Dave Meltzer didn't know about
times it. That will just go over heads. Because, like, dude,
exactly.
When have you ever been right?
When have you ever been right about anything?
Y'all would have reported it.
All right, so Ross Sapp, I'll give you. Meltzer, nah.
We
don't believe you.
The thing is listen. The smoke came from inside the house, right? If we didn't hear about it from Sasha, if we didn't hear about it from Bailey, if we didn't hear about it from her husband, what's the difference between hearing about it a year from now from somebody who isn't even in the WWE anymore? Or if we don't really know, we understand they're friends, we get it. But like, there's other people that could have gave us that information and chose not to give us that information. Why was she the deciding factor? Okay, go ahead, tell everybody what I've been going through. No, not buying it. Like I said, there are people that were with her 24/7, like Trinity. There's somebody who's with her husband, and there's somebody that's also been around in the same amount of time in Bailey. But all of a sudden, you're the deciding factor to tell like that information that we again don't know if Trinity wanted that information out.
We don't even know if it's true. I'm just saying
exactly.
that when somebody gets injured, the first thing, if it comes from the wrestling journalists that we quote unquote love to hate,
but it's wrong all across the board to me.
But the first thing we do is share it in our group chats. So in this case, the question was, how do you feel? And I understand how y'all feel, and this is how I feel. I like to believe
because you think the best in people. You
no, it's because he's also part of that goddamn circle now. That's what it really is. But
the celebrity wrestling journalist. I get your point, Brian.
But I get you, Brian.
From a pseudo wrestling news site, we would definitely take it with completely different energy than Ariane talking about it. Not to mention, you know, how people feel about her in the wrestling community, like her narrative. So, I mean, I get that too. And people are very sensitive when it comes to Trinity. We are very protective over her. So our first, you know, thing is to protect her. Like, does she want people to know? You know, is she okay?
If Paul Heyman was to tell us that Brock Lesnar had a broken arm, like I would give two shits. Like, okay, he has a broken arm. What else is new? Like, we know Brock Lesnar has intestinal issues if it came from him, but we're all very protective of Sister Trinity. I feel like we could all agree with that.
And I, you know, I'm one of those people that I am okay with mystery when it comes to my wrestling.
Right.
And keep in mind, when the Sasha and Naomi stuff happened, Cameron did an interview where she was speculating and kind of throwing Sasha under the bus as the reason why everything happened with Trinity and stuff like that. So this is the first time that Cameron's spoken on behalf of Trinity on stuff that may not even be true, but we're just going to put it out there. So it's kind of like, why do y'all keep, like, are you her, like, wise man? Are you the Paul Heyman to her Roman Reigns?
Are you the Paul Heyman and we don't know about it? Because I thought it was Bailey. No, their wise man is Bailey.
Trinity is okay with this. You know what I mean? Where it's like she like this is a situation where she's just like, you know what, you can kind of spill that tea. Like, I don't want it to come from me. I don't want to do any podcast interviews. If somebody asks you, fuck it, tell them. And you know, that's what I'm hoping is the case. But then in this business, it's like you want to be talked about, and Ariane will do whatever it takes to be in these blog headlines.
Just be in the conversation. She's still her total diva era.
Yes, and I didn't watch her virtual signing where she says this, so I don't know what the overall context of her quote and why she was even talking about Naomi in the first place. I'm assuming she gets asked about Naomi all the time, but she did say that Naomi was recovering from shoulder surgery, and I want her to answer for herself of what's next for her. I know she's recovering, but I'm super proud of her. Blah blah blah. So it could be one of those things she said in passing without even thinking twice about, you know. Yeah. But if Naomi is truly recovering from shoulder surgery, I hope she's recovering well. I hope that, and look, even if that's true, look what she's been able to do in that time off. Like, she's still been able to model. She's still been able to, you know, spend quality time with her family and all those sorts of things. So
they just aired an episode of Bar Rescue where her and Mercedes are on there with Maria Menounos.
Yo, and let me tell you something.
Funny.
She's me. When she saw that man dip that straw in that man's drink, the first thing I said was, ew. And then she was like, what the? I said, yeah, because hell no, post-COVID, you gonna stick your nasty straw in my drink?
Like, bruh.
And it was Bar Rescue through the pandemic and Kitchen Nightmares both reminded me of why I'm like, listen, if some of these places shut down, I'm not going there regardless. Because there's a restaurant in New Jersey that was on Bar Rescue, and I went there, and I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't eat from there after watching that fucking episode. Because but that episode, yeah, I was her. I was like, she didn't talk much, but that face stole the show. She didn't talk much, but that face stole the show. Like, sis was me. I'm like, who the hell? Dude, COVID is still a thing. What are you doing?
Chip in my dip.
That's them getting them checks. I'm here for it. But it was good to see them. Sasha Banks was also on the red carpet recently for the Mandalorian premiere.
Money
with her belt.
Pulled up with the fucking belt. She said she's a woman of her word. When she did the press conference, like, I'm gonna take this belt everywhere, not just wrestling. She meant that shit because you saw her playing tug of war with the Rosario Dawson with the IWGP Women's title. You saw her with most of the cast of The Mandalorian with that title. I'm just saying.
No, I have to give it up for her too, and what she's doing for women's wrestling as a whole, because we talked about branding, like me and Brian talk about branding a lot, and how it's amazing when teams win the championship and how they carry the WWE championship around, and the belt may not be the most beautiful, but guess what? That brand, that logo is there. But with Sasha, she's elevating a whole different section of wrestling that people aren't familiar with, because I'm sure people are like, oh, that's that wrestling belt, that whatever that fucking football player's name is. But yeah, there you go. But with Sasha bringing that belt on like a Disney red carpet, I'm sure people are gonna be like, wait, that's the girl from Mandalorian, but I don't reckon, like, that interest, that like, oh, that crossover, like, oh, Mercedes.
She has a lot on her plate and she is embracing it to the fullest. You know, we was talking about this last week on the wrestling realm, and the real Dwayne Allen is eventually going to do the Realness Reacts, where he's going to tackle the question, can Mercedes make as much money as Sasha Banks has? Can Mercedes do, because Sasha Banks is a global superstar and had the machine behind her. Can Mercedes do that? That's going to be fun to watch. But you know, it's a reason, like we said this right here in this very fan club, where it's a reason that there were so many people that set Fight TV off, because she is a global phenomenon. And it's exciting to watch because she's doing all this with a smile. Of course, the pressure is there, but she's doing this with a smile. And, you know, the smartest thing she could have did was be Mercedes, because now you're forced to recognize her name. And she's coming back. And it's going to be a fun choice to have, because to me, personally, I think she will have been the biggest superstar since Scott Hall and Kevin Nash to leave. And you have to make a choice on what are you going to call her.
Yep.
That's what I believe when it comes to her.
I completely 100% agree. I'm so proud of everything that she's doing. I love when I see wrestling in the mainstream.
Sir.
More wrestlers in the mainstream. It's Mania season, so they're going to be everywhere. Charlotte Flair was on Access Hollywood with Mario Lopez. And Mario Lopez is a huge wrestling fan. So again, another thing I love, celebrities that you never know are wrestling fans. So his family was super excited to meet Charlotte. So she looked amazing. I also want to shout out her stylist. Wow, don't do that. Don't do that. Let me get the button ready, because I can definitely.
Dude, can we get through one episode without somebody kicked out?
Y'all. That was Brian this time.
It's y'all. No, because it's both you two getting kicked out. I have been kicked out once.
Under this bus right now.
Okay, we're not. It's okay. It's fine.
Table for later.
But yeah, Charlotte looked beautiful. I also want to shout out her stylist, King Troy. He's such a sweetheart. We exchanged a little bit on social media because he wanted us to share our repost of Charlotte's super cute outfit on SmackDown. So shout out to him.
He don't miss at all, honey.
Not miss. He's also Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch.
I want to know how he got the boots. I want to know how he got the boots.
He's in. I
need to know.
He's an insider. He's based in LA, so you know he is going to bring the fits for Mania. So I'm excited for that as well. Some more wrestling news. I don't know if you guys heard about everything with Sonya Deville.
Yeah. And I'm from Jersey. It was on NJ.com, and I was just like, as someone who's from Jersey, I'm gonna go on and defend her and say we have the weirdest laws when it comes to guns and holding guns in the permit of a car. Like, basically here, if you feel like your life is in danger because you have certain firearms amongst you, you're allowed to call the police. So in her defense, it wasn't really her fault for not knowing that she needed said permit. But yeah, it's sad. Blame it on New Jersey at this point in time.
I put this in the group chat, so I'll just put it here. I'm thankful that this happened in Jersey and not New York City, because New York City is absolute zero tolerance on illegal and unregistered weapons. They do not give two shits if you're a celebrity or not, because they've locked Lil Wayne up for this. They've locked Plaxico Burress for this.
Yeah.
They do not play that. So that would have been an automatic 2 to 3 years that Sonya would have been in Rikers just for that. So I'm thankful that happened in Jersey, to where that can get rectified, because that was the city. They would not have cared. They would have thrown her ass in jail quickly.
100% right. And everything that she's been through, like, I'm not surprised that if she wanted some protection on her, she had a situation. Terrifying. So if that is why she wanted to feel more protected and she didn't know she was breaking the law, then, you know, we send all of our, you know, good vibes to you, Sonya Deville. Obviously, she has a match coming up. She's actually going to face Charlotte for the championship on the house show at Madison Square Garden. It was just announced. That, you know, it's entertaining. Cody Rhodes is also going to be on that show, so I'm going to try.
When is that show?
In my soul.
MSG show, I think it's March, I want to say 17th.
Are we going?
It looks like a very stacked card for. Usually they say that for
it's
like
the house show though.
It is, but they usually say that for like the Christmas show, not like
no, but it's a Road to WrestleMania show.
Yeah.
No, this Road to WrestleMania one, you know they're gonna keep it peaked in interest and stacked, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so that should be fun. But I do want to take another break and get into the rest of the show. It is Women's Empowerment Month. So those wrestling girls, we spotlight women all the time. That is why we are here. That is what we are passionate about. But when March comes along, we do like to up it a little bit. And we really enjoyed spotlighting Black wrestlers for Black History Month every week on Fan Club. So we're actually going to continue that through March and on. And we're going to spotlight some people. So we're going to take a break and we're going to get into our first spotlight of Women Empowerment Month.
She could have definitely been, you know, still making residuals off the magazines or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, when one door closes for one, come on.
I mean, that ended up being one of the like highest selling Playboy issues at that time.
Because China took over.
Yeah. And the interesting part is like you don't have to know wrestling to find Sable attractive, to be walking in a supermarket and this is on, you know, you're gonna pick it up, you're gonna look at it. But yeah, once this happened, she became not just a star in wrestling, she became a star in pop culture. And her checks reflected it, her TV time reflected it, and a lot of women, including Sunny, were not happy with that at all, especially because you're coming into wrestling and you're not a wrestler.
Yo, that's one of my favorite episodes.
That was a dope one.
Yeah, put respect on her name in that episode.
She's
what was that?
She gave, but not for nothing though. When I think about that part segment with Playboy, Tori wasn't gonna get Playboy by herself if it wasn't for Stable. In my opinion, when they did that to sell, like they asked Hugh Hefner in an interview that he did at the time with Extra, and he said, you have all these you've had everybody on there who's one of the highest selling. He said, well, I've had this person, I've had that person. I remember having 2 WWE female divas on there that sold me out completely, and that was Tori Wilson and Stable. So respect, man. Brock Lesnar, keep up God's work. Thank you.
Salute. And I'm not laughing at Sable. I'm just looking at AEW real quick because they're having a match right now, and they brought back the Sonic Ring. Big ass Sonic Ring over the ring.
That's disrespectful. That Cody's gone.
Wait, what's the Sonic Ring? Please,
it's so. Can I, guys? And tell me if
you started.
So
yours.
This is kind of a jab at Vince McMahon's brass rings. So there's a match where they have a brass ring hanging above the ring. And it was all a jab because Miro always said that he was trying to reach these imaginary brass rings that Vince always said that no one was reaching. Because remember when he said on the Stone Cold's podcast too, nobody's trying to reach the brass ring the way that you and The Rock. So they all took offense to it. So now when Cody and Miro got there, they put that brass ring up there.
They worked themselves into a shoot.
Hold up.
I gotta turn this on. Hold on. What?
It's just it's the visual of this big ass brass ring hanging up like a Money in the Bank briefcase. It's just fucking hilarious.
Wow. I kind of like now that I'm hearing the backstory, I'm kind of like, okay, I don't hate this.
If
it doesn't look corny. Like, you know,
it's been so long since I've seen it. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot AEW does this as like take that, Vince. Here's your brass ring. I'm gonna go grab it.
Yeah, that is interesting. Let us know, guys, if there's anything else on Dynamite you want us to touch on, because we do watch it as a family during fan club for these reasons. I just learned something about.
We learned something new. Grab the brass ring, literally.
But back to Women's Empowerment Month, we are spotlighting another wrestler. I'm gonna let the person who nominated her introduce who we're spotlighting this month.
This month, Women's History Month, we are continuing our tradition of honoring our indie superstars. And it's not just going to be a monthly thing, it's going to be a 24/7, 365, 7 days out of the week. And this week, we are choosing the lovely, young, and talented Mia Friday. Very, 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 very much getting involved with this young lady and her lineage. She is, to me, the equivalent of a Mia Friday, of a younger Lita Vega even. She's been the Lions Pride Sports Champion. She's been the Vixen Wrestling Revolution's Genesis Champion. She's also been the WAW Lone Star Ladies Champion. She has been ruling Texas with a iron fist. But what this girl lacks in size, she makes up in great ability. I thoroughly went through a rabbit hole, and you could thank Mr. Hollywood Waters for that with her Sirius, where it's been between her and Mia Friday. Between her and Amber Rodriguez. I've even gone as far as seeing that she's also wrestled Roxanne Perez at some point in her career. I'm very proud to be a fan of this young lady. I think the stars is going to be high for her. I think we see another future WWE superstar on our hands. And you guys can tell me what you guys think about that.
The first thing that I learned about Mia Friday was Roxanne. That she's a young Roxanne. And, you know, speaking of Amber, who has shared the ring with both of them, you know, she was like, man, she said, this girl's better than I was when I was her age. And the fact is that when you see people, a veteran say, I want to work with this young one and bring them up. We saw this with the Reverend Ron Hunt and Jay Bougie. And you see that, you see them want to go to another level. It makes you excited. And I'm really excited for Mia Friday. She's just getting started. Like, to have all these championships right now, you know, and I have to make an apology because I totally missed her on the graphic. So I take responsibility for that one for last month because she's had one of those titles for over 200 days. So she's out there doing her thing. And it won't be too long. You know, she got to turn 18 or 21 first, but it won't be too long that Booker T will be doing the same thing on commentary.
If she's based in Texas, she's gonna get it's not gonna be long for her to get scooped up. I talk to a lot of people on that coast, and they talk about how thriving a lot of those scenes are in Texas, as it's always been, but right now it's buzzing. So whether it's like Jazz's school or Booker T or a lot that's happening out there, I see big things. Shout out to Mia Friday. Follow her if you're not already. Check out everything that she's doing, because I'm sure this is just the beginning.
She's a fan of those wrestling girls. We saw that when we honored her.
Nice.
Yeah, she definitely thanked everybody for posting the match with her and Amber. So
listen, there was this, and you gave me 2 matches to grade, and I watched them over. I'm like, why am I just so like, I don't know, like when people, and I kind of feel like it's a big like FU to the industry, because where they want like big beefy guys to be in the wrestling, they also want like these beautiful flawless girls to start wrestling in the ring. And I feel like when there's somebody that doesn't fall into the fold, that's so impressive the way that she's impressed me, I'm kind of like gonna root for them a different way. So I'm rooting for her. Like, I really hope that whether it be she ends up on AEW Dark for a few matches and comes to WWE, I hope that she does get that chance, because she's another deserving person. Like, a lot of, like, when I heard that Gigi Dolan was signed with WWE, I was so excited for her, because I remember her journey. I remember her in the indie circuit. I remember when she was like telling her story about her family and what wrestling did for her. It got her away from her toxic family situation, and it put her in a whole new different light. Same thing with like Cora Jade, who was a fan of like CM Punk and AJ Lee, and actually got to meet them and following his steps to be on the indie scene when they got signed. Even with Roxy, like I was like, yo, this girl that's like the youngest ROH champion, that ROH is still thriving, is not going to be in WWE. That's huge. So I always root for the hardworking girls like them that are like, listen, this is my dream. I'm going to keep doing this no matter how young I am, no matter how hard I got to go, no matter who I got to fight, no matter how many times I have to get my back on some thumbtacks. I'm going to be doing this until I can't do it no more. So, Mia, if you do watch this, yes, I'm a fan of you. I hope you keep going. I can't wait to see you on TV one day. Point blank, period.
I'm excited for you, girl. And I'm excited to hear that you are a fan, because we're also a fan, and we hope to maybe have you on the show one day. Mia.
I hope
Say
so.
less. We'll make it happen.
It into existence.
Yes. If that's one guest we'd love on the fan club or Thirsty Thursdays, that's it.
Yeah. So, do y'all know what time it is? It's time for something, but I don't know if y'all know what time it's for.
Game time.
Oh.
It's for.
No, we know.
It is time.
You teed that up. We had to hit that at the park. But what you got?
It's time for Seindole scorecard. So, I'm sorry, scoreboard.
What are we feeling today?
So, Impact has been a topic of conversation in the fan club, as you all know. So they had a pay-per-view this past weekend, and Seindole is going to chat up some of the women's matches.
Uh-oh. Hold on, wait, y'all got to see the professor. Hold on, can we one time we gotta.
Yes, the glasses. She about to speak some facts. She about to speak.
Oh, these aren't the glasses. If y'all want, okay, hold on. Put my scoreboard up, Brian, because I'm about to get the real glasses. Because this was a doozy. Thank you. So, as you know, the scoreboard isn't just any regular scoreboard. It has grades, it has metrics, it has measures. We rate this scoreboard on what, producer Brian? Let's put that up there first. We based it on match longevity, chemistry, wrestling ability, and storyline build up. And let me just say, this pay-per-view, and I put it in the group chat. I don't care how much heat I get. Y'all know me. I don't care what kind of heat I get. I don't care what y'all think about me. I don't care. Y'all can curse me on Twitter all you want. Follow me on Reload via Film on Twitter if you feel like you really got something to say about that. This pay-per-view was like watching white paint dry.
Ooh.
It was hard to watch. Like, when I tell you, I didn't watch it. Yeah. I watched it a day off, first of all, and fell asleep after the Hex versus Death Dolls match. So that prompted me to watch the entire thing. Nonetheless, I have qualms about the placements of the matches on this match. That being that they could have took out one of those male matches and put Giselle Shaw and Dina Peraza in that main card pay-per-view match instead of putting them on the YouTube pre-show. Let me tell you why. Giselle Shaw is another person that I feel like is doing all the right things, but is in the wrong promotion. She's in the wrong promotion. She's She's another person that gets lost in the sauce of you're talented. She now has like she has a male valet who's like supposed to be like an influencer, and they're supposed to be like kind of like what B-Fab is to, you know, it just, there's a lot to unpack in that. It's lost on a lot of people, but she makes up for it with her talent. I feel like the way they're giving Deonna Purrazzo is foul. Don't put her on a pre-show ever again. That was disrespectful for y'all to do. Let's not make that mistake twice. Because their storyline buildup was interesting. They were actually women's tag team champions together. And then Giselle kind of got on top of her head. She thinks she's too big for her boots. She's getting real cocky, and she's turned on everybody, including her old partner Peraza. So they had a match. They brought it out. And what made it interesting was Savannah James coming into the match and being the wild card. She comes out and and screws Deonna Purrazzo, help Giselle Shaw win, and now it seems like they're kind of like a stable. But if you know Impact, the way Impact has been running, their stables don't stay too long. That's the problem they've always had, and it always with the women, like they're female. Because wasn't Savannah Evans just with Tasha Steelz? Am I right? And now she's thrown into this. She's thrown into this mix up. Like somebody help me out because. And again, what I did not, why I got a 4.1 is you do not ever put Deonna Purrazzo in a pre-show match. You're talking about the woman who held both the TNA Knockout Championship and the AAA Women's Championship. You don't do that to her. We don't do that. We don't do that in this household. So again, it should have been a main card match because Giselle Shaw is very impressive. Deonna Purrazzo is one of the best you have on your company, and you made them a pre-show. Don't do that again. If anything, that Hex versus Death Dolls match should have been, because that match, like I said, I fell asleep. Like it was very hard, and even for it to be the buildup that it had, with it was just a mess. Like the whole card was a mess. So the way these matches were placed, this might have been one of the hardest grades I ever had to give because of how this match set up their women's. You had 3 great women's matches, which is something you only get really in a WWE type pay-per-view. But because it was so lost in the shuffle, it was hard to grade. Like I even haven't gotten to the Misha Slamovich and Mickie James match yet, because that in itself, like, do you have a picture of what happened in the match? What James did?
I think I can get it.
Oh, when she bit her tongue?
Yes. Like, what was that?
That was so wild to
me. Yo.
I'm sorry. I know this is your scoreboard, but really quick.
Go ahead.
Like, it came off to me as like a cheap pop. Like, it didn't land for me. It was like, I want to do something shocking. I want to do something that's just like revolting, that's going to trend, but it didn't land for me.
It landed for no one. Like, what was this supposed to do? We, like, Mickey, you hardcore country. We retired the crazy Mickie James a long time ago, sis. What was that? And it's like, it's disappointing because Misha Slamovich is somebody who's also so impressive. And if they give her the Shayna Baszler treatment, I'm going to flip my shit because she does not deserve that. That match again, it wasn't it wasn't going to be main event card. We get that. Mickie James can only get it once in a blue moon, right? Like, what was that? Like, why did that need to happen? Like, you're good on Billy alone. Why do you feel like you need to do that? Like, to me, again, I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm gonna throw my hands up, like I said, like my good sis Lovely, we throwing her hands up. That card was garbage. It was garbage. It was garbage. It was garbage. The only thing that gives it a storyline continuation, which I thought they were gonna do, I thought they were gonna put Jordan Grace versus Mickie James plus Misha Slamovich in that card. Maybe they're slamming it for Slammiversary. I don't know what they're saving it for, but that probably would have made it a little bit more interesting. But again, I'd rather paint a room and watch the paint dry.
So I
stand by it. I would.
And which promotion is this again?
Impact.
I have no words.
Gail, fix it.
I have no words as well because I've been very vocal about Impact. But if there's anyone that's in the fan club that watches Impact and likes what they're doing and enjoy the pay-per-view, we want to know what you think. Seindole scoreboard is Seindole scoreboard.
Nobody was watching that goddamn pay-per-view. If you look on Twitter, half people forgot that pay-per-view was on. If it wasn't for Misha Slamovich and Mickie, ain't nobody give 2 shits. You know why? The card was garbage.
So the quote Joe Budden
revive the Bullet Club. I don't know what the fuck was that.
Pay-per-view a 2-pack of ass?
No, fuck Joe Budden because never mind.
Oh. Oh, okay. Hit a nerve.
Okay.
Mm.
Fuck Joe Button. So I want to get into.
I would like to unpack that, but we could do that another time. Let's
do another time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let us know if you agree with Seindole's scoreboard, if you watched that pay-per-view.
And if you didn't, it's okay. I understand.
And yes. So
and I'm going to say it, and let me listen. I'm going to listen. A few weeks ago on the fan club, I actually said that Mercedes Moné could show up to Impact. I no longer want that at this point in time. I love to admit when I am wrong. I am wrong. So, Brian, I am incorrect. I like to admit when I'm wrong. I might have been wrong about scoring Mercedes Moné the way I did. I wasn't wrong about that, but I was wrong about her going to Impact. It's not happening, and I hope it don't happen. If anything, Mickey better take her ass to Japan and figure it out from there, because that was a joke. And then they had the nerve to go, I'm going into a rant. I feel like I'm KRISTA. They went and said, oh, we're in a sold out.
Save it for Patreon.
We're in the sold out. No shit, you're sold out. Look at how small the fucking venue was.
Damn, shots are being fired.
Yeah, she just dropped the atom bomb on Impact. Like, bro.
She definitely did. But
fuck shots. She said, hold this.
I want to go into, because obviously we're talking about production value and Impact is so different than like what we're used to, like a lot of things are just not what we're used to. But I want to go, what you were going to say, Brian?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say,
I want to go
it again.
Oh, are you going to tell us what he did?
Can you tell us what he did, please?
No, what the way you talk about Michael B. Jordan, it's just like you ain't the person talking about that. Like, we really talking about somebody talking about females? Excuse me, women. I'm so sorry. No, so that's all.
Joe Budden is very much in his.
He does not deserve no more time on this stream. We got to hard out with 15 minutes.
He's giving me Vince Russo vibes. So let's just let it at that.
I would never
we'll put that. Ooh, we're gonna put that in the box.
Okay.
But I want
to wait. Hold on. Okay.
There you go. So I want to talk about a spot that has went viral recently, and
can I run it real quick?
Let's play the video.
My guy, this is not it.
Yeah. Do you have the footage of?
Oh! Holy shit! 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 I see dub! I see dub! I see dub! I see dub! Gee! Greg!
What the fuck was that?
I'm glad you ain't see it. This is the reaction.
What the fuck?
I remember I watched that before I sent it to you guys, and I was like,
yeah.
Did Owen Hart teach these people nothing? Like, did New Jack teach you people nothing?
What the
That's
fuck
how
was
I felt.
That?
I don't know. All I can say when I thought about
Justin,
it.
What is your? Because I realize Justin is just seeing this. Like, I have to.
Right. That's exactly.
Somebody doesn't read our group chats.
No, a lot's been happening for me this week. So this is one thing that I missed. But yo, Shorty fell from a fucking balcony. That could have ended so goddamn bad. And everyone's just cheering like, ooh, that was great. What the fuck are y'all watching?
To answer Rikarsha's question, yes, she is okay. She ended up winning the match that night, and she was tweeting about it. But go ahead, Justin.
No, I'm glad she okay. But bruh, who came up with that shit? Why?
Who? Wait, not all y'all. Wait, go back to that comment. Wait, what? What?
What he said times 100, like, who the fuck presents someone? Yo, you know your great spot? Let me just toss your ass off a balcony. That could have broken your legs. That could have broken a hip. That could have cracked your skull on something. There's so many ways that ends bad. And this is like the one time where it's like, And this is one time it was like everything went good. It was fine. Like, bro, that could have been so bad. And for what? What the?
That just reminds me of if anyone's familiar with New Jack's episode, because I actually rewatched it on Black History Month of the Dark Side of the Ring. And he was like, when he had that match where they stacked those tables all the way up to the rafters. Yeah, on the scaffold. And he tased that guy, and everybody thought at the time, because I remember speaking to somebody who watched it back in the day, they all thought that it was like an accident. And then this guy actually watched the episode for the first time on YouTube, and he was like, "Yo, I was actually there for that match, and we all thought it was an accident. Now we know that New Jack did that shit on purpose because he didn't like what Vic did to him in a match." I was like, "Wait."
So it's like, yo, but that's when it's scary because, like, why? Like you said, Justin, like, why? So her name is Rhea, and she was facing Molly Spartan for Insane Champion. Oh, well, there you go. It's called Insane Championship Wrestling.
It's in the UK.
It's in the UK, yeah. So she, like you mentioned, Seindole, she is okay. She actually quote tweeted us and said like she was fine and she's actually the new champion. So we definitely congratulate her for that. But just from a wrestling fan standpoint, I'm just like, as far as just match psychology, in-ring psychology, how do you take a bump like that and still win? Like, you're clearly you practically died. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy, and I really do hope that she is okay, because there's no way you take that bump with no
right. Like, you don't know what type of long term.
Right. I'm glad you're okay. Don't do that shit again. I've seen people tear ACLs and fuck up their knees over less.
I seen Joey Janela go against Leo Rush, and he did a spot when he was like climbing on these like the wrap like in the ceiling and dropped to his back. And this is like watching, and like, mind you, I'm doing social media for CZW at the time, so I'm within 100 feet of this spot, and I knew the spot was going to happen. They just said the Janela spot, so I know exactly what it meant. But when I seen it, I'm like, wow. And of course he had to mimic Mick Foley. They took him out, and he's like, no, that's not enough. And I just wish these independent wrestlers would understand, like, your body is your brand. You have to protect that temple. And, that spot right there, uncalled for. Like you said, P, the most important part, the psychology of the match. Like, that doesn't even make sense, So how do you even justify winning? But, I'm grateful that she's okay. And hopefully we won't see that again. I just hate that. And this is a deeper conversation that a lot of times when Black people in the indies win championships, they got to go through these extremes.
I was just about to say that. I feel like there's other cultures that do the bare minimum, but then when it's us, that's how we win. And that's just that does not sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with my spirit. The fact that you took that bump and it is a room of people that are just like, holy shit. You see the guy in the right hesitant to check on her. That should have been somebody immediately checking on her. I don't know if there's other videos of that angle, but it looked like people were just like in awe and cheering holy shit for that spot. Yo, how long did it take for anybody to check on her? Was she moving? Like, we don't know. So anybody who's outside of her, outside not watching that, would have been like, yo, was that even planned? Was that a spot? Like, you take it too far? Like, you just don't know. That stuff is never safe. And I remember talking about, we had this discussion when we were doing the Big Four about blood in women's wrestling, and we say that's too far. Spots like that, they're too far. Like, I understand people are trying to make a name for themselves out here, especially when it comes to the indie circuit, but like, enough's enough. Like, knock that shit off.
We get that you want to make a name for yourself. We get that you want to put on great matches, but there's ways to do it. Because what if she slips or she pushes her too hard? What if she doesn't push her hard enough and she's landing in the crowd or she's landing wrong? There's so many ways I can fuck up. And for what? Because you're trying to put on a great match to win a title. We get that, but there are ways to do it. And we want to see y'all do your thing for like 20 something years if you want to wrestle that long. Like that's shit that takes years off your life.
And the sad part is I don't even think the motivation was to have a great match. I think the motivation was to go viral. And that's even worse to me because you don't get paid a lot of money to do this. Although now I am following Rhea. I am talking about her. We're talking about her in the fan club. So wrestling is about moments. That was a moment. That was a choice. So.
That's a debatable moment. Don't do that again, Rhea. For the love of God, no.
Don't do that again. We want you, like Justin said, we want y'all to, your body is everything. We want you to be doing this. We want you to be signed before you put your life on the line. Fucking get that $1 million check.
Yeah, like don't be doing it in some sweaty UK gym hall with a bunch of neck breathers. Do it for like the millions and millions of fans across the world when you reach the big time. Like give them the bare fucking minimum. I'm sorry, especially in that element. Like, no, do that shit when you're famous and when it's practiced right.
Bingo. When you're thinking of a spot like that, WWCFD, what would Charlotte Flair do? Would Charlotte Flair do the spot? If the answer is no,
Charlotte Flair ain't doing
that is such a good one. I love that you said that, Justin, because she's such a great example of she's regal. She's like, I'm not doing that fucking shit. Like, no, fuck out of here.
And it
so
also
I
happens
think
to help that those wrestling girls have an elaborate 3-part series talking about Charlotte Flair and why she don't need to be doing shit like this.
Don't need to be doing that at all. But speaking of neck injury, I don't know. This was a segue into Saraya. Because people were going in on the neck jokes. They was going in on the neck jokes. But it's not funny. But she's back and she is in a championship triple threat match with Ruby Soho and Jamie Hayter at the big AEW pay-per-view. So I really want to hear what you guys think about this triple threat, but I am going to say that I have become a huge Jamie Hayter fan. There's something about her that she definitely has that it factor. Putting the championship on her was a great choice. And y'all know my girl Ruby Soho finally getting her shine as well. Saraya needs to be in the title picture.
No, Ruby
Soho.
I was just listening to that song the other day in the car. It's called Personality came on, and that came on like right after. Shout out to Lars. Looking we stand living color in this household.
I love that. So how do you guys see this match going? Are you excited about it? AEW's women's division is how we feeling?
If they give it to Saraya, I'll honestly be surprised. If they give it to Saraya, I'll be surprised. I mean, I hate to not give Ruby Soho the benefit of the doubt. I don't know what she did to piss them off, but if she don't win, I'm gonna think that she did something to piss them off.
So it's her time.
Yes, but AEW booking is fucking horrible. That's
how many people was in the Riot Squad?
Stop.
How many people still there?
Stop it.
No, it's two of them still there.
Brian.
This is
Liv has made herself a name outside of the Riot Squad, and Valhalla is. We're not going to talk about Valhalla and her stinky, musty feet coming out to ringside.
She just looks dingy. Listen to me. We're not talking about the Riot Squad. We're talking about Ruby Riot. I'm done. We're talking about Ruby.
We're talking about Ruby Soho.
We're talking about Ruby.
I'm trying not to talk about Ruby and talk about who's going to win the match, which is going to be Jamie Hayter. I think that this is another establishing match. She gets a win over 2 veterans. So I'm really thinking that this is the way to go because long term, I think it's her and Britt Baker. That's where we're going.
When do you think that'll happen? Be honest.
Memorial Day.
Okay.
And this isn't a stat. Well, when I say stat card, they're not overloading us with matches, which is great. So I think that everybody's going to get some time, but this is like the first time in forever they're not giving us 80 matches.
Okay.
I just want to see Ruby wrestle a match without breaking a hip, a nose, a bone, because the last couple of matches have not been kind of Ruby, where she's almost been dropped on her head, bloody face. Like, just get out of this in one piece, Ruby. We love you. Just get out of this in one piece. With
yes, don't bleed like your boy John Moxley. That's all I ask, because that was creepy in itself. That was scary for me to watch her do that.
It's I don't like that. I really hope AEW gives them enough time to really put on a banger, because even if this is Jamie Hayter's moment and she ends up winning and beating these two veterans, it could still be a really cool moment for AEW's women's division because of the names involved. So I really hope AEW does the match justice.
I'm rooting for Jamie Hayter just because I'm going to continue to ask this question until you finally answer AEW. If Jade Cargill's still undefeated, why is she not going for the AEW Women's Championship? Make this make sense.
Right. It really doesn't make sense. And I don't think anyone's been excited about a Jade Cargill championship feud in a long time.
So shout out to Peter. This is what he says. He was like, maybe they're just so afraid of a big, powerful black woman that they probably got in the writing room with her and told her to give the title to, and she probably halted the motherfucker up against the wall and said, "I'll be damned. You let me lose to this motherfucker," and dropped and be like, "Try again, bitch." And so they went out there and they just lose on purpose. He's like, because that's the only reason why somebody would have the title. Like she's giving Roman in the sense that, like, I'm be afraid for you to whoop my ass. Because if I was the writer and I told you were losing this week, I'm be prepared to piss myself. Have you seen her drop people? I'm sorry. That's the only thing that's going to make it logical for me. Because other than that, this whole streak is like, now it's being taken as a joke. I already like that for her. Yeah. I don't like that for her. They're taking it as a joke.
I understand that Jamie and Britt make sense. It's a story worth watching. It's a match that will happen, probably needs to happen, and it's gonna make 1,000 cents. But then you also have an undefeated fucking champion that hasn't lost to anyone. That honestly should leapfrog everyone else, because it's like, I haven't lost at all. Y'all have all lost, so technically all y'all should be in the back of the line. I should be in the front of this line. So what's up?
I hope she does. I really want her to become the AEW Women's Champion and just have that. I did both of them. Now what?
And it has to happen sooner rather than later, because I'm kind of bored of it and there wasn't anything really significant to come of it. So hopefully they're building Jamie Hayter up to
she's on TV now.
Right.
Yep.
So
speak of the champion. Literally.
That is the case. But I think the fan club is winding down to a close this week. It's been really, really, really fun getting together with you guys and the crew, as always. I want to shout out all of our faithfuls that come to the club every single week. Rakarsha, of course. Andre, I'm sure I'm going to see you at a show very, very soon. Everyone that's joining us for the first time, we here with the crew every Wednesday on Twitch.
Happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month. It's Women's History Month. It's Women Empowerment Month. It's Women's Month. So that means you have to pay extra attention to those Wrestling Girls platform, because we will continue to provide a platform for all women in wrestling. And that's why we have this Wrestling Fan Club. Just another platform for us to get into the current news that's happening in wrestling. Our podcast, which comes out every other Monday, is where you can learn the history of women in wrestling. We have spotlight episodes on women from the Golden era, from the Divas era. We just concluded our Charlotte Flair series, working on our Carmella series. So pay attention to all of those things. But I'm going to let my crew close out, and then we are going to get out of here.
So I will go first. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 for Those Wrestling Girls Fan Club, exclusively on Twitch, with these three amazing, beautiful, intelligent co-hosts of mine. You can catch me from time to time on Turnbuckle Talk with Mimi and Corey. That is on Twitter Spaces around 6:35 Tuesday nights. You can catch me from time to time on True Heel Heat Sports and True Heel Heat Wrestling. Both of those channels are located on YouTube. see me pop in there and talking sports, wrestling, stuff like that. We here, we outside, we active. Salute to the women.
All right, you can find me at Brian H. Waters this week, last week agenda. Catch me on last week's edition of the Flex Zone. We was through the airwaves of Baltimore City, so Baltimore City heard about TWG Fan Club. So make sure you check out the Flex Zone. Check me out on Randy Cruz's show 2 out of 3 Falls. Check me out this week on Wednesday Worldwide. I dropped the CM Punk take that I don't think a lot of people like because my mentions are still blowing up. So let's just say
you said what you said, brother. I'm not.
Was he that good on the mic?
Did you say the unemployment line for the?
No, we're not saying that. But as a fan, I concur that I can agree with you. But it's all love, brother. I'm not mad at you.
Appreciate it. Check me out tonight on the Wrestling Around Now podcast at 10:30 p.m. right here on Twitch. And also this week, check out Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. And that's all I have for this week.
And last but not lovingly least, this year honorary wrestling girl Seindole B. You can catch me on Twitter at Reload via Film, on Instagram reload.relive. You can also catch the Well Minority on Instagram and on Twitter at the Well Minority. Podcast is dropping very, 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 very soon. Very soon. And also an honorary of spoiling the surprise. This is the first exclusive you will hear here on the fan club, because I'm with the 3 best friends that anybody could ever have, and I tell them everything. Your girl Seindole B will be on a very special edition of All Elite with Keeks on coming soon, and you will see that drop happen. It's going to be a very good episode because we are going to
very nice.
I'm going to be joined by another very special guest, but I'm not going to tell y'all that because some secrets just for me and my friends. And if you want to be a part with the club and with the clique, you better keep turning on every Wednesday night for all that needs to be heard, needs to be said, and we don't hold nothing back. Lego.
That's gonna be
yes.
Yeah, so
Fair
make sure
fingers.
y'all watch that. Follow Seindole everywhere so you can see when she's gonna be on and talk her AEW shit.
Also, the Big 4 is returning. That date is TBA to be announced. Be sure to look out for that.
I love that. Oh my god, I love seeing you out here. Shout out to Black Thoughts.
Woo!
Get that workout in,
brother. Can't wait for the next
we
show.
Love being there for people
can't wait
when
for the
you know
next
they're in
show.
the gym and shit. Yeah, definitely can't wait for the next show. He huge part of our family. We love you. But we will see everyone next Wednesday for TWG Fan Club with me, Queen PR, and the crew. We get together as a wrestling fan club and we talk all the current wrestling news and takes and all that shit, pay-per-view reviews. And successfully, Justin did not get kicked out the club this week. So stay tuned next week to see if he makes the cut and does not get kicked out.
This is my journey.
Yeah,
cheers.
we love to see it. Cheers to that. Next Thursday, Krista B's birthday special live stream for Thursday, streaming everywhere at 6 p.m. Eastern. So we will see you there. But until then, we'll see you on Twitter, Patreon, Twitch, all of the above. And yeah, we love you. Bye.
Peace. Night. The party is over.